Welcome to the Relationship Rehab Podcast. I'm Sammy, a certified breakup and relationship coach, attachment specialist, former love addict, and spiritual junkie. This podcast is for you, the hopeless romantic who loves to love, and a safe space for us to explore and heal our attachment trauma, broken hearts, and love addictions. Together, we are on a mission to become the love of our own lives so we can have successful, healthy, secure relationships with others. So if you're ready to create a life and love beyond your wildest desires, you're in the right place. Your journey towards becoming more secure in love and life starts now. Hello, my loves, and welcome to the Relationship Rehab Podcast with myself, Sammy. And whether you have stumbled across this podcast or you're following along, we are actually in the middle of a Christmas series, and this is part 2. And the reason why I put this series together is because Christmas has this beautiful way of bringing up all our triggers, our wounds, our limiting beliefs, the anxiety to the surface as we're navigating relationships, heartbreak, dating someone new. So I understand firsthand how exhausting, overwhelming this time of year can be. So, in this second part of the series, this is an episode for those ladies and gentlemen who are dating someone new and you're in that in-between gray area that we all know so well. Maybe you've been dating a couple of weeks, a couple of months, maybe even longer, but it still feels fairly new. You haven't yet crossed that line of calling each other boyfriend, girlfriend, or getting serious in some way. You might be exclusive, but there's no full-blown commitment quite yet obtained with each other. So you're not yet officially in a relationship, but you're also well acquainted at this point. And it's a sticky, messy, gray area, like I said. And sometimes we just don't know what to do for the best. We don't know what's right, what's wrong, what I should do, what I should not do. And you want some guidance on gift giving, meeting each other's families, and just how to get through this Christmas season with less anxiety and more calm around these things. So before we get into that, the first part of the series, if you have not yet listened to it and it resonates with you, it was published last week and we talked about how to evaluate your current relationship and whether it is serving you anymore and whether you should stay or go and leave this relationship and whether start anew in the new year. So we talked a lot about that last week. And then the final part of the series, as we approach the big day, we'll be rounding off with an episode for those going through heartbreak over the holidays, whether you did the breaking up, maybe you listened to the first part of the series and a lot of it hit home for you and now you're navigating heartbreak, or it has come on you without expectation, without knowing, and you are now dealing with being single over the holidays and you want some support on how to cope with that. And in this final part of the series as well, I'm going to split it into 2 parts to create some space for those as well who still find themselves single at Christmas despite their best efforts to be in that relationship, and you just want some support on navigating family conversations and how not to be lonely during this time so you can embrace your Bridget Jones era, transforming that feeling of emptiness into empowerment. So that was going to be published around about the 20th to finish off and finalize this series before the big day. So to keep a lookout for that as well. All right. So like I said, this second part of this series is for those dating someone new during the Christmas holidays. And I know how tricky and confusing this time of the year can be when you're in this space. You might be thinking to yourself, do I get them a present? Do I introduce them to my family? Will I meet their family? Do we celebrate the holidays together? What does that look like? And I know it can trigger a lot of anxiety for us because, like I said, we might not know what to do for the best. We might struggle with trusting ourselves and what's right for us. And we're just looking externally for those answers of what to do that's right so we don't chase them away or we don't come across as too needy or too much. And yeah, we're just figuring out how we can play that cool chick and not care. And that is not the way to go, by the way. And I'm structuring this episode around do's and don'ts. I thought I would play with this. Let's play with this, what can be quite a heavy topic at times, but it doesn't have to be. It is just obtaining information so you can make a decision that's right for you. And this is everything. I always say this, everything that you hear either on this podcast or on other coaches and people's podcasts, on social media, on anything that you're consuming, never take it as the be all and end all. This just information for you to observe how it makes you feel and whether it resonates with you, and take what you need and leave the rest, and find and come up with your own decisions and choices and answers as well. And I know that takes time as you're building self-trust, and that's why it's important to really lean into those people that you trust, that you resonate with. And on this podcast, we talk a lot about how to navigate these things when dealing with an anxious attachment style. So a lot of the content that I put out there is targeted towards people who resonate with having this particular attachment style, or maybe a fearful avoidant, but you're more anxious than avoidant. That's the majority of the content that you can expect to find on this podcast. So gone off a little bit, but just wanted to plug that in there, that it's just really important as we're consuming and there's so much out there now, isn't there, guys? So much information and stuff being thrown at us. So that's why we have to be conscious and mindful of what spaces we're putting ourselves in. Okay. Let's move forward from that and back to the intention of this episode is how to navigate this dating space. So another plug here before we get into the do's and don'ts is that, like I said, take everything with a pinch of salt, because all dating connections and relationships are different. They're moving at different paces. And I might share some stories of my own or of clients, and these are their stories. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be your story. Like every relationship looks different, and sometimes we can be quick to judge when we think relationships are moving too fast or moving too slow, and there's no such thing as the perfect timeline. It's all about what's right for you. So let's get going with this, guys. I'm excited to share these things with you and really dive into Christmas dating, because I have been there myself a few times. I've got clients going through it right now. It is a thing that's very, very real for a lot of us. So the first of the do's and the don'ts, I'm starting with the don'ts. And the first one is don't have high expectations. When we are feeling more on the anxiously attached side when we are dating, which is pretty much most of the time for a lot of us, where we feel anxious when dating someone new, we're already fantasizing about that evening with them, ice skating and holding hands, and then they're declaring their undying love for us while we're halfway around the Ferris wheel. Like, Christmas holidays have this magic about them that makes us feel so warm and cozy and wonderful when we're dating someone new. And it is so beautiful to be dating someone new at this time of year. But, however, it can also be a fertile ground for us to really fall into those spaces that we can be in sometimes of fantasizing and infatuation and enmeshment, because we have this vision of the perfect Christmas holiday with the perfect partner, and we love love. We are such romantics at heart, and we want this and we deserve this. But we also just need to check ourselves sometimes and apply some reality of, like, is this going to happen this year with this particular person if the connection is still fairly new? Can we create some space to be able to receive and see what comes out of this connection without applying too many expectations that we might have from our vision and fantasies onto this person, onto this relationship? Now, like I said, it's common to have high expectations sometimes of grand romantic gestures during the holidays, and we can feel this way about birthdays and anniversaries and any time of the year, really, but Christmas is one of those times as well. And especially if we've had past experiences of this, we tend to compare relationships sometimes, and we don't mean to do this, but we do it subconsciously. So when we have experiences and memories from the past, they get stored within our subconscious and they become a part of our programming and the way that we see the world. And this can fuel expectations. So what I mean by this is I have had an experience in the past where my ex-boyfriend, we were dating for about officially dating for about 2 months. We were talking for a while before that, but officially dating for 2 months from October to December at this point. And he said to me, I love you on Christmas Day. And it was not said in the most grand romantic gesture, but it was just said as we were cuddling in the morning after being intimate. And it was beautiful. And I held on to that. I was like, wow, Christmas can really bring up stuff to the surface. And it can. But when do we then take that memory and that experience and expect it to happen with every person on Christmas Day? So I noticed this in myself that when, we were together for 2 years, that relationship then ended and I was starting to date again, and it was around about the holidays, and my birthday is very close to Christmas as well. So it was on these days where I'm like, okay, what grand gestures can I expect from this person, because it's my special day, my birthday, it's Christmas, it's Valentine's Day. And we have these expectations, and when they are not met, we can feel really disappointed and frustrated and anxious that it's not the relationship that we thought it was. They are not the person that we thought they were, because we might have built up this image, this vision in our mind. So another example I want to share with you is a client of mine who is also dating someone new right now, and we're having conversations about how to navigate this. And this new person has communicated to her that unfortunately they cannot spend Christmas Day with her, but they're willing to spend some time before Christmas, leading up to Christmas. But it's a busy season, and he has made it known that it's going to be a season where he's not able to spend or invest a lot of time and energy because he has family commitments or previous plans that he has already put in place before even meeting her. And the season in and of itself is quite busy with work and everything on top. He communicated this, and of course she responded well, saying, yeah, okay, no problems, that's totally fine. But what was going on internally was thoughts of, well, he can't want this as much as I do. He can't be that serious about me because he doesn't want to spend Christmas Day with me. They don't care about me. They don't want me. Oh my gosh, they're going to leave me. And sometimes we can fall down this spiral when we're making stories and narratives about something that is happening in reality without really having a bigger picture of what's going on. So we fall into this temptation of seeing and observing other people's actions and words as a reflection of us or the relationship itself. But the reality is, in this experience, in this example, is that they already had those plans and family traditions in place. And it wasn't that they were avoiding spending time with her, or it wasn't that he did not care about her anymore because he wasn't investing the same amount of time and energy over the Christmas holidays, because he communicated that. He tried to make it work. He was willing to carve out some time in the Christmas lead up schedule for her and plan activities for them. So this is where we need to differentiate between whether this person is willing, and I say this word again because this is what we need to look out for. Is there a willingness? Is there effort from this person to include us in their Christmas plans? It may not be the big day itself, but are they including us in some way that feels right for them? So it may not be what we expect or want, and I'm going to get onto that in a minute, but are they including us in some way? Or are they not? Are they like, I can't see you this month because there's too much going on and I'm too overwhelmed and I can't do this? How available are they for you during this holiday? Something that we need to assess. But like I said, sometimes having these high expectations can lead to disappointment. And the way to avoid that is really having those conversations with this person. Assess where you are. Are you comfortable enough with this person? Do you feel safe enough with this person to really express your expectations and say, this is what's happening for me. These are the expectations that I'm observing is coming up for me, and I want to share them with you. But it doesn't mean that I am now putting those expectations on you. I want us to have a conversation of how we can manage this so I don't end up feeling disappointed or frustrated. I want to know what's expected of both of us. So having those difficult conversations really of what you can expect from them, what they can expect from you, and also expressing what you desire without controlling the outcome in any way. Again, an important part of us not being expressing like, well, I want to spend Christmas Day with you because this is what it means to me. And if this doesn't happen, then I'm going to be feeling really, really sad and anxious, and I'm going to be questioning the whole relationship. That then puts that person under pressure, because especially men, if we're dealing with men, they want to, they have this natural tendency sometimes to fix and make things better so we feel okay in their presence, that we don't think bad of them. Sometimes the ego can come up a little bit in that. So they may then fall into a space of pleasing and obligation because they don't want you to feel any type of way about them. And that doesn't feel good for them to then abandon themselves and any previous plans that they've had in order to accommodate us and the expectations and anxiety that we might feel. So how can we release expectations, release the need for things to go a certain way, release pressure on yourself and them, and release those expectations and focus on being present and enjoying the time spent together, enjoying those activities that you may have together without all the heaviness. Okay, the second do and don't is keep to your plans. So we talked a lot about releasing expectations around them and their plans, but we also have plans, right? We also have traditions and things around Christmas. But as anxiously attached individuals, we can be tempted to cancel them. We can be tempted to cancel that Christmas weekend to Iceland with the girls, or going to the Christmas markets with your mother, for example. So we can spend all the time that we have with our new love. So don't cancel on them. Don't go against anything like traditions or family commitments just because you have someone new in your life. Because as anxious attached as when we're in love, we do tend to let our other relationships slip onto the back burner. I've been there myself, and I've observed it in so many of my clients and people around me, that we get sucked into our bubble and we just want to spend every moment with them, and we don't feel good when we're apart. So we don't want to be apart. The only time that we feel calm and relieved and a sense of warmth is when we're with them, and we feel anxious and irritable and just not pleasant when we're not. And that in and of itself is a big sign that there might be anxious attachment at play. So I know that it's tempting to spend all your time with them at this time of year, but remember to include other people in your plans, your friends, your family who have been there for you through thick and thin, that are already in your life. They are equally as important. So respect that by sticking to the plans that you've already made, because don't make the mistake that I did back in the day, where I did cancel or I rearranged, but I was doing it all the time. So now I was sending a message to my family and friends that they cannot depend on me. They cannot rely on me, and they are not as important to me as this partner that I have in my life. So what happened as a result is they started to distance themselves from me, because, well, of course they would. They can't rely or depend on me, and they have this feeling that they're no longer important because this other person is now in my life. That is just going to be inevitable, and I don't want that for you. I really, really don't. So address any feelings that you might have about abandonment or rejection. If you were going to set a boundary with a new partner and be like, that sounds lovely, I would love to do this activity with you on the 21st of December, but that is the evening that I'm spending with my friends. We do it every year. We exchange gifts, etc., etc. So that's really important to me, and I don't want to cancel on that and break that. They are going to understand. If this person is secure in themselves, they will not make you feel bad in any way for sticking to your plans. They will not. They will completely respect it, they will understand, and you can negotiate between you what else is available in terms of time and energy for you both. The third one is don't overdo gift giving. So let's get on to the topic of gift giving, another major one when it comes to dating someone new. What type of gift do I get them? Do I go all out to express my love and how much they mean to me? Do I not get them a gift at all because I want to play it cool? Will they get me a gift because I don't want to get them a gift if they don't get me a gift? And all these questions can be circling our mind and causing such overwhelm. And this is the quick and easy answer to this, is that there is no right or wrong way. It really does come down to where the relationship is at and what the dynamic is between you both. But I get it. Gift giving around Christmas can be really confusing when you have someone new in your life. And other questions like how much do you spend on one another as well can come into play, because that can cause some uncomfortableness around money, right? If they spend a lot on you when you only get them a small gift, and or vice versa, it can be really awkward. And we're also opening up space when it comes to gift giving for us to go into overanalyzing. We then overanalyze what the gift means, whether it's the gift that we get them and how they are going to take it, how are they going to react to the gift, whether we choose to go all out or whether we choose something personal or nothing at all, how are they going to react? And how we are then going to decipher and what we make it mean about the gift that is given to us. And stories and narratives can just pour out of us at this point as well. It can be an absolute minefield, gift giving. But at the end of the day, when we think about exchanging gifts, when we really go back to what it truly, truly means to give someone a gift, it's a warm and romantic gesture that comes from the right place. And it's all about the intention behind the gift. Are you doing it to please them? Are you doing it to impress them? Or are you doing it out of a space of, I really want them to receive this gift because it means something sentimental to us. It's done with love. It's done without expectations of having something in return. That's another thing. Can you give a gift to somebody and be okay if you don't receive something back? Because the gift itself is coming from that intention and place that you want this person to have this, not because you want to have something in return. So the best thing to do here is really evaluate where you're at with each other, even have that conversation. I'm all about communicating everything and not double guessing or making assumptions and allowing stories and narratives to overtake you as the truth. Can we have a conversation about gift giving? Is that possible for you, about how much you spend on one another? I know it's not the most romantic thing, but maybe that's what's necessary in order to avoid any conflict or drama or confusion. Or you just go back to that intention, like I said, where you really check in with yourself and you ask yourself, what do I feel like I want to gift this person? And it may come up like, I don't want to gift them anything because it doesn't feel like the right time. Or I know they're into this specific thing and I want to get them something related to that and I know they're going to love it. And can you allow yourself to just be the person that you are, which is loving and caring and nurturing, and be able to gift it to them without this overdoing, without this extravagant buying? Really, that, in my personal opinion, that's the way to go. Something personal, something that's going to mean a lot to them, that's not tied to a lot of financial investment or emotional investment, but something simple that is going to make them smile. I'm interrupting this episode to ask you a question. Have you taken our relationship archetype quiz yet? If you haven't and you want to know more about your attachment style, this is the quiz for you. All you have to do is answer 10 simple questions, and that will take you to your result to find out what archetype you are, whether you're the mountain, the wind, the sun, or the ocean. So, to get started for free, click the link in the show notes below, and don't forget to let me know what archetype you are as well. All right, let's get back to the episode. The fourth one, which I did want to leave till the end, but I really feel like I want to bring it in right now because it just comes after what we were just talking about, which is do check in with yourself and what is right for you. Like I said, we are quick to be able to receive information outside of ourselves of what is right or wrong, what we should or should not do. But check in with yourself and what is right for you and that person and this connection that you have with them. There's no perfect right or wrong way. So be careful not to make decisions to please others, to impress others, to meet others' expectations, or to give in to that ego that might be telling you that you have to do this or you should do that in order to receive something back. So always check in with what is right for you. For example, we might feel that egotistical desire when we talk about introducing them to family, right? Shall I introduce them to my family? Are they going to introduce me to their family? That can be a hot topic as well when dating someone new. So we might feel that desire coming from a space of wanting to show them off. So our family and friends around this time when we get together, everyone's coupled up and we've been single for the last few years, and now finally we're dating someone. It's only been about a month, and you may have these feelings like, I don't know, it's still fresh, it's still new, but I want to send that subliminal message to my family of, see, I am desirable, loved, and wanted by another. So screw you and your pity that you were showing me last Christmas. I will not end up alone because I have this person now. So you can take me off that shelf of discarded goods. Thank you very much. And we want to be able to show our family and friends that we are worthy of love and we do have someone in our life and they can get off our backs of, when are you going to find someone? And, oh, are you single again? So I get it, been there myself a few times, and so have my clients and people around me. You are not alone in this. But is it really the right time for you to be introducing this person to your family and friends? Maybe it is. Maybe you're really excited for them to meet your new person in your life. They're already so important to you, and no matter how the connection unfolds and grows, this person is still important to you and you want them to be a part of your Christmas celebrations. That's beautiful. Or are you doing it from a place of, I just don't want to show up alone again to this Christmas party. I want to have this boyfriend, this partner, this date that I can show off. So really get honest with yourself about the intention, going back to the intention of why you want to introduce them to your family and friends, and just see what comes up when you really ask yourself that question. And with them as well, again, checking in to see if you have that expectation that you expect them to introduce you to their family and friends around this time or not, and encourage them to really check in with themselves, whether it's right for them without taking it personally. We don't want to be taking it personally what their decision is, because it could just be coming from a space of, it's still fairly new. It's still a work in progress. It's still something that I think has room for growth before we take that next step of involving each other in family Christmas traditions. Because let's be honest, my loves, it never feels good when these things are done out of pleasing or obligation. Like, I've been there where I've dated someone who was doing things just to please me, or because they didn't want to lose me, or because they didn't want me to feel any type of way towards them. And it just doesn't feel good. It feels forced. It feels forced. I would rather you do these things for me, or introduce me to your family, or get me this specific gift because you want to, not because you feel obliged or because I'm expecting it. The next one is do create your own holiday traditions between you both, wherever you're at in your relationship. It can be overwhelming to sometimes fit each other into the holiday traditions you've already crafted out with your friends or your families. So, could you, as a couple, create your own small, low pressure traditions because you're still fairly new? Maybe this is your first Christmas together. It's a beautiful opportunity to do something so brand new, so personal to you both, that's unique to the two of you. So it could be a specific holiday movie that you start watching together, and that becomes a lovely memory for the future. Maybe it's baking cookies together or doing a certain activity that then becomes your thing. This is how we start to create those little inside things that only you as a couple will understand and feel and know, that is just for you two. Is this a possibility? So instead of doing Christmas Day with each other's families and friends, could you have your own unique day and doing something meaningful with each other, yet simple, keeping it simple, nothing too extravagant, creating your own little moments that can feel so special without that weight of grand gestures or expectations. Number 6 is an important one. Don't interpret everything through attachment lens. So this is where awareness can start to play in when we are dealing with an activated anxious attachment system, becoming aware of when it's showing up. So for example, as anxiously attached individuals, it can be very easy for us to start analyzing everything around the holidays, like we've already touched upon, right? Whether they introduce you to your family, what gift they get, and every little move that our new partner makes, especially on the big day. This really takes me back to a memory that I have where I just could not enjoy Christmas Day with my family because I was too concerned and preoccupied with what they were doing and who they were with and whether they were having a really good time or they were also missing me as much as I was missing them. And I couldn't relax for the whole day, and I was analyzing everything. Like, did they say Merry Christmas too late in the day? I only heard from them around midday where they said, Merry Christmas, how was your morning? And all of a sudden I'm feeling really agitated that you went the whole morning without texting me, so therefore I can't be that important. And you can see where the spiral will then take you. Did they text feel less enthusiastic? I remember it was just a very quick one, as if it was rushed. And then that in of itself, I was picking at it. Where's my kisses? Where's my emojis? Where's my phone call? I just got this mediocre text. And it's these minor things that we can sometimes blow up and not take with a pinch of salt, especially on something like Christmas Day, where things are busy. They might be distracted, they might be stressed, they might be all over the place, or they may not, and they may just be in their own energy. The holidays are busy or stressful or even triggering for everyone. So how can we set aside some patience, some kindness, some curiosity for each other on this day? Because I know that in the moment, it really can feel like a reflection of the relationship, what they do, but often not, it's not. It's just a matter of these external things distracting or stressing us out. So if you're feeling this type of way and you're worried, or you do spend Christmas Day just feeling really anxious, is it a conversation you can have prior with this person? Whether, no matter how vulnerable you want to be, but you could just say like, oh, I would love for us to have a phone call in the morning so we can wish each other Merry Christmas, and we can just touch base, and then for the rest of the day we can go ahead and continue doing our things with our own families. Is that an agreement that you both can put in place so you feel good and you can relax on Christmas Day, and they can also feel good as well, and not have to deal with any expectations or feelings of uncomfortableness that they are not good enough or that they're not doing what you want them to do. So practicing self-soothing around this as well can help you stay centered and having conversations. The next one is do set boundaries with your family and friends. So sometimes it's not just your new partner or the new relationship itself that adds holiday pressure. Sometimes it's your family or friends. Maybe they know about this person already, and now you're feeling pressure for them of things like, are you going to bring them tonight to the family gathering, or is he going to see you on Christmas Day, or what? They will start to poke at this new relationship and apply their own pressure and expectations and opinions on you. And maybe they'll formulate their own opinions by your response. If you say, no, no, he's not coming. Oh, he's not coming. Oh, it can't be that serious then. These things can be a little bit triggering when it comes to our family and friends, especially if this is a new partner that you've had after a couple of years of being single. For example, it can add anxiety to the new relationships, and expectations can formulate from this space as well. So know that you can 100% absolutely set boundaries with questions around this time about your new partner or new connection, or maybe you haven't told them at all and they're poking at you of do you have a new boyfriend? Sometimes we see family members that we haven't seen all year. We only see them at Christmas time. I know we all have those family members where then every year they just check in with us. So you have a new boyfriend or girlfriend? Are you going to settle down soon? What's happening with your love life? We all get it. We've all been there. It's up to us if we want to answer that. If we feel comfortable with answering that, we know that we feel safe with this person, go ahead. If we don't, then you can set that boundary by redirecting the conversation to something else, or be clear that yes, okay, you are dating someone, but it's fairly new and you don't want to talk about it. You're taking things at your own pace and you leave it at that. Setting boundaries around family, especially around Christmas time, could be a whole other episode in and of itself, and one that unfortunately we won't be able to get to this year, but it is absolutely a thing. And know that boundaries can be practiced with family and friends who do sometimes ask these trigger probing questions that they don't mean to trigger us. Maybe they do mean to probe, but they mean well. They mean well. They want to see us happy. And especially older generations, they tie a lot of safety and happiness with being in a relationship. I get it all the time from a grandmother of mine who, that generation, they do put relationships on a pedestal, because back then it was such a major thing for a woman to be secure and to be safe and to be protected and to be supported in life. But it's just not the case now for our generation. So how can we be a little bit more compassionate to the older generations? Now, I used to get so triggered when my grandmother used to ask me these questions, probing questions, but now it's just done with such compassion that she didn't have a choice back in the day to not have a relationship because of what that meant for her and the society that she grew up in. But my generation, my experience, the life that I'm living is very, very different. I live a life in Thailand, and they don't understand that in and of itself. But to not have a partner in Thailand, oh my God, what are you doing with yourself? All these things can come up. So now I take it with lightness, humor, compassion, and I set that boundary if it gets too much. I'm like, okay, I know you, and I know you mean well. I know you care and you want to know what's going on in my life, but I'm going to have to end this conversation here because, yeah, it's just making me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Next one is, don't confuse holiday magic with real relationship growth. Like I said, I get it. The holidays can feel like an absolute fairy tale when we're dating someone new, and it's so easy to get swept up in the romance of it all. However, coming back to the ground, coming back to reality, meaningful relationships take time to grow. Growth happens over time. So it's not just because you exchange gifts or had a perfect date or kissed under the mistletoe that now the relationship means something that you might be working towards, but just noticing if you're applying pressure to rush yourself and this person into that space of being committed, when the reality is it's still unfolding in a beautiful, natural way where you're still discovering each other and where this relationship is going. And you don't want Christmas Day to come at you with all this pressure that now it has to mean something, especially around the new year as well. We can often find ourselves evaluating where we're at. Oh, especially myself, when I turn 1 year older as well around this time, it can really hit me in the face when I reflect upon where I'm at in my love life, business, just life in general. So we don't want to be making any quick assumptions, decisions about any type of connection that we're nurturing around this time just because we're reaching the end of the year. So we might be like, I have this goal for 2025 where I want to have this committed relationship. And yes, it can be beautiful to evaluate where you're at with this connection, but maybe you're just not quite there yet. It's still new, but there might be this subconscious pressure of, I need to make it what I want for 2025 now. So I know that we are heading in the right direction. Can we just let it breathe around this holiday period, and anything that can be expressed, but without that pressure and expectation, like I said. And then the last one is my loves, my beautiful anxious heart. Please do plan some solo time around this season. I know you, and I've been here so many times myself. I still catch myself in this space of just wanting to please, perform, and prove ourselves around this time, either with that new partner, our friends, our family. We feel like we have to meet all these expectations, we have to do all the things, we have to get all the gifts, we have to be everything to everyone. It can be very overwhelming and draining because we have these protector parts of people pleasing and perfectionism coming out sometimes. And when we don't be in that space, we feel like we're disappointing people and that they're going to leave us, or we're not going to be as important, or we're not going to matter to them as much. If you resonate with this, just like I do, then this is your invitation to carve out that solo time for yourself, to rest, to journal, to meditate, to just relax with yourself, with all the nice Christmassy feels, to put on a Christmas movie and just do what you want to do. Just be in your own space and your own energy so you don't get caught up in all the Christmas chaos. And you have that space to be with your emotions, especially if you're dealing with a lot of anxiety right now. You need that space to sit with your emotions and move them through, so you're not like a hamster spinning on a wheel constantly and then you're going to crash and burn during January. Don't want that for you. So focusing on self-care during this season is so crucial, and it's going to help you show up more as your best self, your secure self, in not only the new relationship that you're nurturing, but as a whole with your family, your friends, with yourself. So I hope this episode has really supported you in understanding what's happening internally and externally, and give you some support and guidance on navigating Christmas dating with someone new or someone that is in your life but in that gray area where you're not fully committed yet, but you're getting there. So I really hope that it has been super helpful. If there's anything else that I can support you with, any specific questions that you might have, don't hesitate to hit me up on Instagram. The link for my Instagram is in the show notes, where you can just send me a quick DM with any questions or reflections that you might have about this episode. I always love to hear them and receive them from you guys. It means so much to me to know that you are enjoying this podcast. Those messages really make my day. So don't hold back on sending me a message over on Instagram. And the final part of this series will be published around about the 20th. So it gives you a little bit more time before the big day to listen to that final part where we dive into navigating holiday heartbreak if you're going through a breakup. So don't miss that. And as we're going into the new year, there are new things coming for the relationship rehab, which I'm so excited to share with you and put together, and I don't want you to miss that. What we have coming up is a free 21-day challenge. We've got new courses and resources being put out, and one-on-one coaching spots in 2025 are going to be open as well soon. So if you want to be in the know and stay in touch with everything that is happening and be a part of it, make sure that you are subscribed to my newsletter, that you follow us on social media. All the links that you need to do that will be in the show notes. So I'd love to have you part of the Relationship Rehab family and to hear from you. And that is it for today, my loves. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know, and I will see you for the final part of this series very soon. Thank you so much for joining me on the Relationship Rehab podcast. I hope that this episode has supported you in healing, growing, and evolving out of insecure attachment and unhealthy relationship patterns and into safe, authentic love with yourself and others. If you enjoyed the episode, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would just take a second to rate and review this podcast. Every rating and review from you guys counts, as it really helps this podcast to grow so it can reach more people who need to hear this content. And don't forget to connect with me on social media. Take a screenshot of this podcast episode, share it on your IG stories, and tag me at the.relationship.rehab with your biggest takeaway from the episode. I really do love reading them. See you back here next week for another episode on the Relationship Rehab podcast.